Okay, been trying a lot of different stuff today, but having an issue figuring out exactly how I want to approach this video. I was thinking about how storytelling is a very powerful mechanic for getting people to engage with a certain thing. And storytelling historically has seemed to engage our brains in a very deep level. It has been the primary mechanic of passing information down before we were able to write or read. Stories from thousands of years ago have persisted through generations simply due to storytelling. So I think storytelling being one of the primary mechanics of the ways that human beings remember information makes it a very compelling medium to tell information in. I think being able to actually succeed at something really has almost nothing to do with the content itself, but rather the will to continue persisting at it. And Piper Dew, I see your comments, and honestly, they were a big motivator for me because I saw some other comments that were hurtful, and it's a demotivator sometimes to see that kind of stuff. And I really appreciate your comments. I really appreciate you voicing your support. I had a really, really nice long comment the other day that someone said, I think regardless of whether you blow up again, you have made a huge contribution to the internet as is. Last decade, you had some of the most impactful videos on the platform, and I know you probably wish that something new would have done that instead of gaming videos/memes. But I guarantee you have left a mark on a generation with those videos, and I certainly have a nostalgia for it and will never forget it. I also absolutely understand your points on people only seeing the value in what exists, even though people can't see the value that comes from investing in new things. Everybody just wants nostalgia and redos right now. And I don't know what that says for us, but I think it's made society as a large not creatively bankrupt, but creatively lazy. You have to evolve. I totally get it as a creative myself. I hope this next project can be a big thing for you and to bring the essence of what you had and bring it with you. You seem like you get it, and you are smart. Greatness will continue to come to you. So, Mr. Goodboy 2780, thank you so much for commenting that. That meant a lot. It's very motivating to see this kind of stuff and know that it's out there. And I think community and having other people around you is one of the most important aspects of driving something forward. Knowing that other people appreciate it and enjoy it and see value in it is really, I think, what's at the core of prompting comments like that one is, does this person see value in what they're listening to and hearing? Because I don't think that someone who doesn't see value in what they're experiencing is going to want to or be prompted to comment something like that or have the feeling to be able to concoct that kind of language coming out of their brain to write that down and comment it. If something was genuinely boring or not interesting to someone, they would just click off and go to something else. And it's very important and good and motivating to know that this type of stuff is interesting and useful to other people, given it might be a smaller subset of people, let's say, this time around, because I think the information that I'm talking about right now is pretty specialized. I think the type of language that I use, I think I'm really trying to fully use my vocabulary in these videos, just because using those words most accurately describes what I'm trying to say, but it doesn't necessarily mean that everybody's going to understand what those words are. A clip that has like constantly kind of come and gone in my head over the years is this clip of Family Guy where Lois is becoming a politician and she starts to say some stuff, and based on the crowd's reaction, she starts to change what she's saying. And I think she's talking about 9/11, and she's like starts going into these kind of like formulated statements about it, and like the people aren't really responding. And then she just realizes that if she just says like 9/11 was bad, then everybody like stands up and starts cheering, and everybody's like, ah, this is amazing. And she gets all the votes.
Welcome, Quahog, to the Town Hall mayoral debate between incumbent Adam West and challenger Lois Griffin. We will now open up the floor to questions from a community at large.
Yes, Mrs. Griffin, how do you feel about those computer websites that put a blue square on the home of a sex offender?
Well, the safety of our children is a very important part of my plan for Quahog. I have a 12-point program for the security of our...
I'm sorry, your time is up.
No, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed, not yet.
Mayor West, if re-elected, would you increase the frequency of garbage pickup?
Well, citizen, that's an excellent question, and I thank you for it. I think it's great we live in a town where you can ask questions. Because without questions, we just have answers. And an answer without a question is a statement.
Oh, I like him. He looks me in the eye.
I'd like to have a beer with him. I'm voting for him.
I don't understand these people. He didn't even say anything and they're eating it up.
Lois, undecided voters are the biggest idiots on the planet. Try giving short, simple answers.
Sir, your question, please.
Mrs. Griffin, what do you plan to do about crime in our city?
A lot. Because that's what Jesus wants. 9/11 was bad.
I agree with that.
God, I can't believe how easy this is.
Mrs. Griffin, what are your plans for cleaning up our environment?
9/11.
Mrs. Griffin, what about our traffic problem?
9/11.
And I think that's, in a nutshell, what happens to content when it explodes. It homogenizes. It gets, it looks the same. It has to appeal to a very, very, very large demographic. And it starts to lose, I think, a lot of what the initial creator put into it. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that that's a bad thing. I think there are people who do that and they're able to drive innovation forward. They're able to drive the meta forward. For instance, Mr. Beast with his videos. I think it's super impressive how that process has been able to scale and appeal to so many people. But there is a trade-off that comes with appealing to society so much, and really focusing videos on only what the general populace is interested in seeing. It comes at a cost in the perspective of what the original creator was initially trying to see and what artwork or whatever they were trying to put into the world. And so for me, what I've done is I've kind of split those two things. I have my company, Cowbelly, Memes by Cowbelly, Cowbelly GG, which is where we do video licensing, permissioning. We have Memes by Cowbelly. If you want to go check out that channel, that's where I do my company stuff, the stuff where I try to appeal to the largest demographic possible, build tools that, help push the envelope. And then I have Cowbelly, which is much more of a personal type of video production, sharing thoughts, sharing my perspective on the world type of approach. And I think the only time when I would maybe let these types of videos blend into more of a public facing type of thing is if I saw that there was a clear innovation or value add that was being kind of drawn out, if this makes sense, that I could expand on. But for the time being, these are very niche videos, and I think I'm okay with that because I'm satisfying that aspect of my self and what I want to try to push the envelope with in terms of developing technology. And these videos are, I'm not going to say that I don't want these videos to be big. I'm not going to say that I don't want these videos to get a lot of views and generate revenue that I could put back into my company. But I think also being okay with or recognizing the effect that it's having on individuals by seeing these comments and reading them is important, and recognizing those small little wins, let's say, is important too. So again, like the exact objectives and exact plan, it can switch a lot. It can differentiate itself, especially during these initial inception stages where a lot of things are fluid, a lot of things are being tried, a lot of things are like, I'm trying the subtitles, I tried the cuts, I even this morning tried to write a story, like have some type of storytelling mechanic that I would like actually tell, but that was really hard to memorize the whole thing and then recite it directly looking at the camera. That was hard. I only got like 3 lines done before I was like, I don't know if I could do a full story like this. But again, persistence is really the only thing that matters in terms of figuring out this kind of stuff. Persistence combined with paying attention to the type of feedback that you're getting from people, because if you're getting absolutely no response or absolutely no change in the way that people are receiving your videos, that in itself is a form of feedback that you should consider. I saw a very marginal increase on watch time from Yap Session 2 to Yap Session 3 with the subtitles. The subtitles took me a long time, but I really like doing them, and I'm going to continue to do them, even though it's a long process to do. It's very satisfying because I'm proud of doing those subtitles, and I think they're a worthy addition to the videos. And I think it's a good solution to how you had people saying these cuts are killing me, combined with I wanted something that was going to increase the engagement that people could use within the videos. Another comment that's kind of stuck with me, Sauce M3 commented, I really like these videos, but they're probably not clickbait enough to get a high CTR, which I thought was, that's interesting. I mean, maybe I can start to play around with the thumbnails and the titles of these videos to make them a little bit more attractive. I guess my approach to YouTube up until now has been I'll create a series that people will click on regardless because of what's inside the videos and not necessarily what's on the outside. But in this world of hyper competitive content, and I do think that the thumbnail visual is important at some level, and so figuring out exactly how or where I want that to exist in the process of video creation has yet to be seen. So we'll see. Appreciate those comments today. And maybe these videos come about it as me taking feedback from people and then actively improving the videos, and that's the entire video series. That would be really interesting to read comments and interact with the community and continue to innovate the series in a way that really incorporates the community aspect and the community feedback in terms of what's going on. That could be really interesting. But we'll see. Cool. Well, this was an off-the-cuff type of recording, but I kind of like it. So, yeah. We'll see what happens, and appreciate your time today. Have a good one. Peace.